Okay, so if you're following the world of AI at all, you've definitely heard the latest buzzword getting thrown around, AI agent, right? It's creating this massive wave of excitement and honestly a whole lot of confusion. It seems like everyone is talking about them, but what are they, really? So let's dive in. In this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise and all that hype. I want to give you a really clear, practical understanding of what AI agents actually are, how they work, and this is the most important part, why they represent a huge shift in how we're all going to interact with technology. You know, before we can even build up a proper definition of what an agent is, I think it's absolutely crucial to tear down the wrong ones first. There are so many things being mislabeled as agents right now. So let's just start by clearing the deck of what an AI agent is not. First off, an agent is not just a fancy chatbot or a large language model. It's also not just a simple automation, whether that's some basic script, a workflow from robotic process automation, or even a conversational assistant. The best way to think about it is this. All of these things might be tools an agent uses, but they aren't the agent itself. Okay, so with all those misconceptions out of the way, here it is. This is the core definition from Gartner that really unlocks everything. An AI agent is an autonomous entity that can perceive its environment, decide what to do, act on that decision, and then learn from it to achieve its goals. Simply put, it's software that gets things done all on its own. That definition is great, but how does an agent actually do all that? What's really going on under the hood? Let's break down the anatomy of what's called a learning agent to see how the mechanics really work. It pretty much boils down to this simple but incredibly powerful four-step loop. First, it perceives its environment. That could be reading data, looking at a screen, whatever. Second, it decides what to do next based on its goals and what it remembers. Third, it acts. It clicks buttons, sends emails, manipulates data. And then finally, this is the crucial fourth step. It learns. It takes the results of its actions and it adapts, getting smarter and better for the next time around. This constant loop of perceive, decide, act, and learn is what makes an agent so incredibly powerful. Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in practice? Let's shift gears and see how this all builds into real-world applications and why this technology is really poised to be so transformative across so many different industries and jobs. Now, what's really interesting here is the mindset this requires. To really get the potential, you have to stop thinking about just simple automation. You need to start asking this question about your own work. What if I could do this perfectly at scale? That question right there, that's the core idea that unlocks the real value of agents. This chart just perfectly illustrates that leap. I mean, take the teacher. They go from manually creating a lesson plan to maybe getting some help with tests, to then having a fully autonomous agent that can grade all the work, create personalized follow-up for students who are struggling, and track their progress automatically. It's the exact same leap for a CEO, from pulling data by hand to an agent that updates and emails critical reports all by itself. That's the huge shift from simple assistance to true autonomy. Look, this technology is moving incredibly fast. So let's take a peek at what's just over the horizon. And, maybe more importantly, what Gartner recommends you and your organization should be doing right now to get ready for this shift. So what's next? Well, we're seeing the rise of something called large action models, or LAMs, which are literally trained to use software just like a person does. We're also going to see much smarter reasoning through neurosymbolic AI, and even entire teams of agents all working together. But of course, as agents get more capable, it raises these huge new questions about accountability and how we manage all this. So what can you do right now? Gartner's advice really boils down to 4 key steps. First, beware the hype. Don't just invest in shiny objects because of market pressure. Second, identify the real high-value problems where autonomy can actually make a huge difference. Third, prepare your engineering teams for a totally new way of working, because this is disruptive. And finally, implement AI literacy training. Seriously, everyone in your organization needs to understand this shift. And that brings us to the final, and I think the most important question of all. This technology isn't just about automating a few tasks, it's about delegating real responsibility. It requires us to trust a piece of software with complex, goal-oriented work. So the real question you have to ask your team, and really yourself, is this: are you prepared to delegate? Thanks for tuning in.